Hello and welcome to another edition of Zoronden Cast. I am of course Zoronden, and you're tuned in for my beta Scholomance Revamp walkthrough. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm already there, so I'm going to go ahead and zone in. You will notice the loading screen is the same as the original Scholomance, so nothing new there yet. We might get something once Blizzard implements that. And once we've loaded in, you will notice two skeletons pop up out of the ground. Originally, of course, there were two skeletal guards there, but these are nice, fancy, new graphic models. They are, of course, reuses from Lich King, but they are nice and new for this instance. You will notice over here to the right on the minimap that it's not completely done. We do have a lot of green squares. And if I bring up the map, you'll also notice there is no instance map just yet. Then to our left and our right, in the old instance, you could of course drop down into the bottom down there, but you'll notice as the camera gets close it goes in really far, and that's simply because there is an invisible wall there and we can no longer actually get down to that lower level, and that's because it's been moved. We'll get to that later. The first thing I want to show you here, though, is these two faces. They're just kind of sitting here. I think they're supposed to be portraits or paintings, not really sure. But what you can notice is as I run, they are tracking me, actively looking at me. It's a little creepy. Let's go ahead and get rid of these two guys. They're not much to talk about. This is, of course, the unheroic version, the just normal, so they're just level 40, as it's now a level 40 instance instead of 60, as was done with Cataclysm. But you'll notice the two heads there, as well as some red skulls, and so it's quite interesting. I think it's just to add to the creepiness factor of this place, which it definitely accomplishes. And nothing extra over there. So we'll go ahead and go into this room. This isn't terribly changed from original until you look over here and you notice the original gateway that went to the rest of the instance is now gone, and it's actually been moved over here to the right. So this room used to be full of these guys, pretty much the same, except it had a succubus in it, and instead of the succubus we now have a nice Instructor Chillheart, a nice lich for us to take care of. One thing I have noticed is you don't actually need to take out any of the mobs in the room. As soon as you aggro him, they all die. So a few of the mechanics for this fight: one, there's this ice wall coming at us. If you get hit by the ice wall, you will die. It is a 100% kill rate. I tried it earlier, got very dead. So it is timed. You need to get him down as fast as you can. Shouldn't be too hard at level 40. And of course heroic will be a bit of a challenge, but of course it'll all be easy in time. Now once you kill him, the fight is not over. He's actually now inside of the phylactery here. And as the ice wall gets closer, I was hoping to show you there's some really cool books. They're flying around shooting spells and whatnot, but I don't want to die, so I gotta get rid of that ice wall. And they should be despawning. Uh-oh. I think we might have a bug here. Last time I tried to go through that wall, it definitely killed me. We'll see what happens here. It's beta. It's always fun to see the problems and the errors going on. And it's steadily marching at me. I'm gonna try and jump over it here in another tick. Oh, there it went. Okay, so it does end there. I believe that was actually a graphical, or not a graphical, but a glitch in the system. That wall is supposed to go away once the Lich is defeated, and then you've got a bunch of books that are shooting around doing fire spells and arcane spells and shadow bolts, things like that. It's pretty cool, but it does make it a little dangerous. Well, you have to take out that phylactery, and that will end the fight, and then you can get your loot. Loot hasn't been prioritized yet for the instance, so most of the bosses don't have loot on them. A few of the old bosses still have some of their old loot, but nothing new and exciting just yet. And so once we go through that door, we're actually now in the old basement room where we have the Barov lady. Oh, she's right here. Yes, Jandice Barov. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out this small pack here. One thing you will note is the skeletons that used to be in this room were immune to magic. They obviously are not now, since I hellfired them all down. So that's quite nice. It could be pretty frustrating, even as a top-level caster, having a bunch of low-level skeletons chasing you and hitting you and having to whack them on the head with your staff or stab them. So let's go ahead and engage Jandice Barov here. She has some pretty cool abilities that I think are going to be quite a pain on Heroic. So let's see if we can get her to perform those for us. Alright, here's Wondrous Rapidity. She's going to shoot this cone of arcane energy in front of her. It's going to happen 5-6 times. On Heroic, that's probably going to be quite a bit bigger and possibly even quicker. Of course, much more damage. And then her second ability, at least that she has on normal, is she splits into 9 mirror images. And you just need to start taking them out. Seems like they don't have much damage. And once you find the right one, the others will despawn and you'll re-engage with her. There, I got her. So I'm going to go ahead and take her out now because those are just the 2 abilities she has. I guess she didn't want to die yet. We'll get her right after this. Gives you another opportunity to check out the mirror images. There, I think I got her. Yep. But it takes a little bit to get her, to actually acknowledge that you got her, but you can usually hear a death noise. And there's the Barov family sword. That is one of the old weapons I was talking about that's already... it's in there because it's already prioritized, you know, because she's an old boss. Now we'll come into the Chamber of Summoning. This is an old familiar room. It used to be the second room in the instance. To the right here is where the balcony was, where you'd summon the gargoyle boss, who had the warrior valor boots. Now once you get into this room, you do of course notice Lillian Voss. Anybody that's played through the Horde undead areas, the Forsaken, will know Lillian Voss. She's a pretty compelling story, and it does look like Scholomance is now the culmination of her story. So, you also notice Dark Master Ganling in there. And we'll get to him in just a second. Your mission is to go ahead and take out the Bone Weavers. And, of course, avoid these guys while you're doing it. You can let Lillian Voss carry herself. She won't die, or at least shouldn't die. You can take out all the Bone Weavers, and then go ahead and give Lillian Voss a quick hand, and take out all the skeletons. Oh, didn't get one Bone Weaver, got her out. Now they're going to have a little bit of a speech. And he is going to escape like a coward. And she's going to, of course, set chase. And we are going to fight the next boss. It's an old familiar face. It's going to be the Bone Boss Rattlegore. And he does not auto-engage, so you can go ahead and engage him when you are ready. You'll notice these bone piles at each station. You can actually click on them, and they're going to give you bone armor, which will absorb the next bone spell. Rattlegore does actually cast some bone spells that I would assume are going to do quite a bit of damage, so you're going to need the bone armors up. And there's a bone spike. 600 damage. That's probably quite a bit of damage at level 40. You'll also notice these firewalls. I'll see if I can get another one to spawn up. They do quite a bit of damage. It's pretty rapid. It's basically going to be a static fire thing that you just got to get out of. Nothing too hard. Show you here the damage. quick damage. You can see hundreds of damage coming up. Obviously, at level 85, it's not much of a threat to me. So go ahead and take Rattlegore out now. And his loot table is not yet prioritized either. And next in this room, we've basically got an expansion on that old butcher gentleman. I don't remember his specific name because he's not here anymore. But these guys in front of me are quite interesting. The flesh whores have 5 chunks of grafted meat on them, and that is actually what you need to kill. The flesh whore himself is immune and cannot take damage. At this time, you cannot target the grafted meat unless you tab click. I'm hoping and assuming that's a beta thing that Blizzard's going to take care of. So we'll go ahead and engage this guy. And as you kill each grafted meat, you see some nice blood splatters and whatnot going on. And once you have all those grafted meats down, a few seconds later, he's going to go ahead and die off. And there will be 3 of those in the room. One is probably quite avoidable, this one to the right here. However, the guy in front of the door that we have to go through is of course going to have to be taken out. And you'll notice the doors to the original basement here are blocked off, as well as the doors to where Rattlegore was, as well as the little dragon whelps that were corrupted. That's also blocked off as well. So we'll go ahead and take out this flesh whore as well. You can see I just shot him there and he healed almost instantly, so it's gonna have to go for those graft meats. Meat grafts. Graft meats, meat grafts. Whatever. Take these guys down and we'll move on. And you'll notice ahead of us Lillian Voss yet again, and fighting Dark Master Gandling. She does appear to be losing quite badly at the moment. And we're going to have to actually fight her this time, because she is the next boss. He's going to take control of her, basically. She's got some rogue-like abilities. We'll see if we can get her to use some of them here. There's one of them. She's going to jump on your head and shadow shiv you. That does appear to be her only ability in normal form at this time. However, once you get it down to about half health, she does go ahead and get her soul ripped out of her, and you have to fight her soul. And there you can see the soul being shoved out of her body. And now we have to fight the soul. Now the soul is going to target a single person, so it appears that she will be untauntable. You're just going to have to power her down as quickly as possible. Now, when you do get the soul to 1 hit point, she isn't going to die. She's going to continue to actively hunt people. So at that time, you need to click on original Lillian Voss, her body, and take her down as quickly as possible. She's also going to have some fire shoot now, and it just can become quite hectic at this point. And you can just imagine what it'll be like on Heroic. And once she's down, Dark Master Gandling is quite surprised that occurs, and again, he's going to run off like a big chicken head. And then your loot will be over here in the corner. That's going to be it for part 1 of my playthrough. Please tune in for part 2. I'm Zoronden, and see you on the other side.